Hi, my name is Edward Fernandez, and I'm President and CEO of 1031 Crowdfunding. Here we're going to talk about how can I use a DST for my 1031 exchange. Well, what is a 1031 exchange? It is an IRS code, and that code allows you to take an investment property, sell it, follow certain rules, and as long as you follow those rules and continue to buy and sell until you pass away, you and your family will never realize any type of taxes. We call it swap until you drop. What is a DST? Well, a DST has been around since 2004 directly on the IRS website as an option for a 1031 exchange. And to keep it as simple as possible, just think of it as a living or family trust where there's a trustee that's managing a trust for the beneficiaries of the trust. In this case, as an investor, you become a beneficial owner of a trust that's on title of real property. How can a DST be used in my 1031 exchange? Well, it could be used in many, many different ways. If you still want to remain as an active real estate investor buying your own opportunities, you can use the DST as a backup option for your identification form. Why? Because the DST already owns the asset, so it eliminates a lot of the closing risk associated with your traditional exchange. That's one way. Another way is if you're tired of dealing with all the tenants, the toilets, and the trash. You're at a point in your life where you want to kind of enjoy the wealth that you've built, but you definitely do not want to give this money to the IRS or the federal government. Then you can use a DST to satisfy your exchange. Also, what it'll allow you to do is get involved in institutional quality real estate. Most of us can't afford to buy a 300-unit apartment building on our own. But in this case, you can own some apartments. You can own some senior housing, student housing, self-storage, industrial, single-tenant, triple-net lease for as little as $25,000 and still satisfy your exchange. What's another way you can use it? Well, 1031 exchanges are very difficult to do based on the limited amount of time that you have. So if you're running out of time, your clock is ticking, you got 40 days, now you've got 10 days, you got 5 days left, and you're panicking, give us a call because you can use the DST to satisfy your exchange. I can promise you this, it's probably a lot better than just paying the taxes. What are the steps that I should take for my exchange? Well, if you've never done an exchange, the most important thing that you got to do is make sure that the funds from the sale of the property do not go into any bank account you control. And do not allow escrow to cut you a check. If that happens, that is constructive receipt of proceeds and you have a blown 1031 exchange. The most important thing you need to do in the next steps to go into a 1031 exchange is make sure you use what is called a qualified intermediary. It's a third party that's going to hold your money. And make sure you use a reputable firm, and here's why. It's because you're giving them limited power of attorney over your funds. And believe me, I have taken some calls from people crying because they used Billy Bob's qualified intermediary and that person ran away to Costa Rica with their money. So make sure you use a reputable firm. What is boot? In a 1031 exchange, there are two requirements that you have to satisfy. Well, the rule is you have to spend all the equity you receive and you have to meet your equal or greater value. So if you buy a piece of real estate and you have money left over, that's called boot. You're going to be taxed on it. If you buy a piece of real estate and that property doesn't meet the value that you need to replace, for example, if I sold $1 million property and let's say I had a $500,000 loan on it, well, I've received $500,000 in cash. I've got to take that $500,000 and buy $1 million or greater to defer all the taxes. But what if I took the $500,000 and I bought something for $900,000? Well, you didn't hit that $1 million number. That is also considered boot. Does the DST I want to invest in have to have the same LTV as the property I'm relinquishing? Well, the answer is yes, but the IRS cannot require you to go into debt. Most investors that we talk to think that they automatically have to take on debt. That is not true. Example, you sell $1 million property. You have a $500,000 loan on it. You pay off the loan, you've had $500,000 in cash. Most people think, oh God, I gotta go get another loan for $500,000. Well, that's not true. If you have the financial means to write a check for that additional $500,000 that you thought you needed to take a loan on, you have spent all your money, which is the $500,000 that you received from the sale, and you met your equal or greater value because you added another $500,000. But if you do not have the means, yes, you should get into a DST that is going to have an LTV that's equal or greater than the property you just sold. Who can I talk about investing? Well, you can call 844-533-1031 and actually talk to one of our representatives, or you can actually leave a comment and we will make sure that someone will reach out to you. Also, you can go to www.1031crowdfunding.com.